Hello, I'm Brianna, and I am the scientist and park intern that's helping to launch the bird monitoring program here at Hopewell Furnace National Historic Site. And today I'm going to be going over the safety and logistics portion of doing the bird monitoring program. So let me share my screen. Alrighty. All right. So you guys are going to have a couple of documents sent your way in a folder. There's going to be two job hazard analyses. One's going to be for the bird monitoring program in general, and then one is for working in an area that has ticks. There is one page of the tick JHA that does need to be signed before you do any field work, so just make sure that you sign that and bring that to me. You can either print it out at home and sign it, or I can provide you with a copy. Just let me know. There's a safety SOP, there's a document with emergency contacts and addresses, and then there's going to be a document going in depth with the radio protocol here. If you've done other bird monitoring programs at other parks, the radio protocol is really the big thing that's different at Hopewell Furnace versus other places. Okay, there we go. This is giving me sympathy for all the times I took virtual lectures in school after COVID. This is giving me sympathy for all my professors that had to do this a bunch of times. Okay, so just some general safety things that I would like to touch on. Personal health. You really want to make sure that you're wearing weather appropriate clothing, especially with the weather getting hotter. We can provide you with a ball cap. It's a good idea to wear long sleeves, prevents sunburn, getting scratches, bug bites, things like that. Long pants, thick long pants, I think are the way to go. Boots, socks, sunblock, we can provide you with stuff like that. Wear at least one item that identifies you as a volunteer. So there will be volunteer hats in the volunteer box. We're working on hopefully getting some shirts for people, fingers crossed. And we're also going to be providing everybody with a lanyard with your name. And if you could fill out your emergency contact information, keep that on you at all times, that'd be great. Rain gear, weather's unpredictable sometimes. You really shouldn't be doing the bird surveys when it's bad weather in the first place, but it's always good to be prepared when you're out in the field. First aid kit, hand sanitizer, stuff like that. Food and water, bring some snacks, make sure you have plenty of water. There's safety vests if you're walking along any roads, any highways. Well, we don't want anybody walking on a highway, but if you're walking anywhere where cars can access that road, we want you guys to wear something bright. And then don't work in the field during electrical storms. We don't want you guys out there during that. Pace yourself, avoid trips and falls. Some of these off-trail points will be in areas where there's fallen trees or rocks or uneven terrain. So just don't rush. You can always come back the next day. Yeah. Avoid wild animals, snakes, stinging insects. Avoid poisonous plants as well. I can provide anybody with information on how to identify any animals or plants that you might be worried about. And we also have the poison ivy wipes if you are sensitive to those oils to get prevent a reaction. Just let me know. They'll also be in the optional gear box on porch 98. Okay, so vehicle safety. Make sure you're performing a vehicle safety check before you drive, especially because you might need to drive between points. The big thing that I want to go over here isn't all the typical safe driving stuff. I'm sure you guys already know this. If you have 5 years of birding experience, then I'm sure that you know how to safely drive a vehicle. Please be safe. The big thing I want to go over is making sure that you know your route before you arrive here. Like I've said a couple of times, we don't really have reliable service here at Hopewell. So there have been times where I just want to double check where I'm going and Apple Maps or Google Maps is not loading at all. So make sure that you have a map ready to go, a route ready to go, and you know where you're going before you get in your car. Ticks. Whew. They're not my favorite, I'll tell you that. We will be providing that job hazard analysis document that goes in depth about ticks and chemical repellents, but some main things just to touch on here. Wearing long pants and tucking your pants into your socks is pretty effective in preventing them from climbing up your legs. Wear a long sleeve shirt and a hat. We can offer you repellents like permethrin or DEET. Just please, if you do choose to use these repellents, that you please follow the directions on the label. The biggest thing in preventing tick-borne illnesses is doing a daily tick check. So every time I walk through a really dense area, maybe like a lot of barberry, because ticks love barberry, I quickly look down, make sure I didn't catch any unwanted passengers, and maybe flick them off, and I'm good to go. So far, knock on wood, and all the field work that I've been doing out here, I haven't caught any embedded ticks in me because I am constantly just looking down, making sure there's nothing on me. And then also, when you get home, it's a good idea to change your clothes, throw them in the dryer. The heat will kill the ticks. Making sure that you didn't accidentally bring them in on your clothes. If you do unfortunately get bitten by a tick, please report that to me in case it does turn into anything. We want to keep track of stuff like that, and make sure that you're removing the embedded tick with fine-nosed tweezers, and just keep the area clean. And of course, monitor your overall health. If you start to develop any symptoms of tick-borne illnesses like Lyme disease, you should definitely go to your doctor and let us know. COVID, a lot of the restrictions are lifted, but in general, we really don't want to be like touching our hands, touching our mouth, nose, eyes, stuff like that, just for personal health and preventing the spread of viruses in general. But also, if you're outside doing field work, there's a lot of stuff out there that you don't want to ingest by accident. So yeah, just be clean. Scheduling. So please try to contact me at least 48 hours in advance before scheduling any days that you plan to be out in the field. You can certainly come to the park and practice going to your points once you have them assigned. In fact, that's a pretty good idea. But please just let me know before you plan on coming and make sure that you get a confirmation from me that that's okay, because as I will go into shortly, we need to make sure that there's somebody on the other end of the radio in case of an emergency, since we do not have good cell service. So yeah, we definitely need to keep track of everybody who's coming and going. If you choose to come out and practice going to your points, you don't have to do it at 5 a.m. or even 7 a.m. You can do that during regular park hours. But since there is bad service here, I don't always have access to all my regular accounts. So here's my office email address, which I can only access when I'm in this office here. But if I am elsewhere, then I can only access my personal email address. So I didn't want to include it in here just because I'm gonna probably be sharing this online. But I will be sharing a document with you that has my personal email address in the contact information. So please feel free to reach out to that whenever you want. You can copy both email addresses on there. I don't mind. You can bother me. Go ahead. Here is my office number. Please leave a message, and then also feel free to text my personal cell phone, which again will be included in the contact information document. Yeah, you can totally feel free to spam me, but if you send me a text message and I'm here, then I probably won't get it. But if I am not here, that's the quickest way to get in touch with me. So sorry for how complicated that is. New equipment. When you're picking it up for the first time, it's going to be in the black box on the screened-in porch at Building 99. I can show you on a map where that is. So, oops, I'm in the way. There we go. Please let me know when you plan on picking up your gear. I'll make sure that that porch is unlocked for you so that you can come and go as you please. If you plan to arrive not during regular hours, you should come in the back way because the front gate to the park will be closed. Radios, you really got to make sure you have one on you at all times. So you may either pick it up from Building 99 or the Hopewell Furnace Visitor Center. When we are scheduling your time here, I will let you know. As you know, we'll play it by ear, but either 99 or the Visitor Center. And there will also be a box of optional equipment like poisonous plant wipes, bug spray, permethrin, stuff like that. Help yourself to that. Just make sure that you return anything that you do not use. When you're returning your equipment, return everything at one time at the end of the season, except for the radios. The radios have to come and go at the beginning and end of every single day. Everybody here, other staff, will be using the radios. We have a limited amount, so please make sure that you return them. We also have to put them on the charger. If possible, it's a good idea to photograph or scan your field data cards and send them to me as you complete each field session. Just keep all your ducks in a row. And if you happen to lose a like a field data sheet, then all your hard work doesn't disappear with it. Please let me know when you plan on returning your kit so I can be on the lookout for that. And if you would like, we also can provide hand sanitizer, antiseptic wipes, alcohol spray, stuff like that, if you would like to disinfect anything. Radio protocol. So this is the moment that we've all been waiting for, right? I will be sharing a radio protocol document with you. Make sure that you review that thoroughly before you get here. So make sure you check in with your site supervisor, who will probably be me, at the visitor center, Building 99, at the beginning of each day that you're doing any outdoor work. So this includes practicing. Make sure that you're in touch with me at least 48 hours in advance to make sure that somebody's there to check you in. And return your radio once you are all done. I sound like a broken record. I'm sorry. It's important. Make sure you're keeping your radio on you at all times. With the volume loud enough that you can hear everything if somebody needs to get in touch with you. And to be courteous, just make sure that you're only using your radio during necessary situations. I would really like it if everybody lets me know when they arrive at their parking location. Just radio into me, let me know that. And then anytime that you move your vehicle to get to maybe another point, let me know. That way park staff can be aware of just where you guys are. Also, since you will have access to parking locations that are not open to the general public, I can let people know, like, hey, this person is supposed to be here. They're doing bird surveying. They're not just a random person that's parked on the side of the road when they're not supposed to be. So please keep me informed. Unfortunately, we don't want to be like using the radios for like, hey, I just saw a super cool bird. I would like to know that. You can always tell me when you get back, but yeah, we shouldn't be using the radio for stuff like that. I brought one here. This is what it looks like. It will probably be turned off when you get it. To turn it on, there's this knob. You turn it like that. And again, this is all going to be on the document. You can test out the volume with this button. Makes a little beep. Not all of them make the beep. Some of them, the beep doesn't work, but yeah, if you want to test out your volume, you could possibly try that method. The channel should be set to 3. It will already be there when you get your radio. If by chance it happens to, I don't know, maybe you drop your radio and the knob moves to a different channel, make sure you put it back at 3. But again, it will be there when you get your radio, so you don't have to worry about that. It will say HOFU. Of course, you can't really see it here, but it will say HOFU on the screen, which stands for Hopewell Furnace. So in order to use the radio, if you're not familiar with using a 2-way radio system, there's this green push to talk oval. This is the button you press. You press it down. I'm going to turn this off while I do this, just because I don't want anybody to get my imaginary message right now. You press it down, wait a second, and then say your message. Make sure you're holding the button down the entire time that you're speaking, and then you release the button. If you're pressing the button down for too long, then the person on the other end will not be able to say anything. You won't be able to hear what they're saying back. So the way that we generally try to contact other people with the radio is you say the person you are trying to reach, and then say who you are. So it would be like, Sarah, this is Brianna. And then I lift up. I then would wait for Sarah on the other line to confirm that she is listening and that she can hear my message. Once I get a confirmation that there's somebody on the other line listening, then I may press the button down again and state my message and make sure I lift up afterwards. Um, Again, all this will be on a document. In case of an emergency, immediately state that this is an emergency on the radio. You don't need to necessarily get in contact with me personally. Just you can say there's an emergency, and whoever hears this on the other end of the radio will help you. State your name, where you are, what the emergency is. Make sure you stay calm because somebody on the other end of the radio can get in touch with emergency services on your behalf, because we do have telephone lines and we can get in contact with people here at the visitor center. So that's why it's so important to keep your radio on you. I will say that there are random patches at Hopewell Furnace that do have service sometimes. Don't know where they are. They change constantly. So it's not a bad idea to just throughout the day take a look at your phone, see if you have any bars of service. And if you do, then you know that in case of an emergency, you can also be somebody to call 911 if need be. All right. Make sure you're carrying a fully charged cell phone just in case. Make sure you have an emergency contact list, which I will provide. And here is the non-emergency but urgent line just in case you need it. My phone number and Kate's phone number. Try to avoid conflict. You know, we don't want any bad situations happening. You guys are here to look at birds, not deal with belligerent or angry visitors or anything like that. So yeah. Oh, also, please report any injuries, incidents, or near misses to myself or Kate, no matter how small. If there's anything that happens, even something as small as a splinter, you could let us know. Again, we want to just keep track of these things. All right, before you go out in the field, make sure you are checking the weather and your equipment, making sure everything is working good. Make sure you have a pair of backup batteries for your GPS that we will provide. Make sure your phone is charged. Let me know where you are parking beforehand, what points you plan to hit, and anytime you plan on moving your vehicle. That way, if something happens, we know what general area you guys will be in. And again, make sure you plan your route beforehand, know where you're going before you get here, familiarize yourself with the nearest park addresses. We're surrounded by French Creek State Park. There's a few parks nearby, so just get familiar with the area before you get here. And whenever you're out in the field, I think it's a good idea to let a family member or friend let you know, let a family member or friend know where you're going and how long you'll be there, when you plan on coming back, just in case. Some other things I just wanted to make sure I touched on. Do not walk along or cross Interstate 345. That's a busy road. It's a windy road. People speed sometimes. Might not have the best visibility, so please just don't walk along it. Don't cross it. The less busy roads you can if you have your safety vest, but please we don't want anybody messing around with 345. It's a little tempting because I will say there is a point that's nearby, and I was going to it to assess it, and I was like, man, if I could just cross 345 and park along the road, then I'd be there in 2 minutes. But I resisted the temptation and I went a more circuitous route, but a safer route. So I'm sorry in advance. I definitely recommend thick pants for thorns. There are some thorny areas. I tried to write in the comments if it was a particularly thorny area. Some are worse than others, some aren't bad at all. So and just be mindful that you're going to be in locations that the general public are not going to be going to. So just be mindful of that there might not be people really where you are, or yeah. And then, some points will be in fields where farm animals do have access to. And we do indicate that in the comments for each point, so you'll know beforehand. But just make sure that if you are going to one of these points, that you keep the gate closed when you enter and exit. We don't want any sheep getting loose because that does happen sometimes. And don't get too close to the animals. They're not aggressive or anything like that, but they are animals, and honestly, they shouldn't really. They probably won't even be in the area that the point is in. I personally haven't seen them in that area, but they do have access to that area, so it is possible that they might be there. So just be safe. And most of all, if you're uncomfortable or concerned about anything at all, anything, let me know. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with anything that you're doing out there. If it's a little too steep, you got to the point and you were like, I don't really know if I want to do this. Let me know. That's fine. We might be able to make accommodations, give the point to somebody else or whatever. If there's anything at all related to this project, just let me know. This is a document that I will be providing with you. I blurred out the personal information just because I don't mind giving it to volunteers, but if this ends up online, I don't necessarily want people online to see my personal information. So you will get this document with out the things blurred out. Here is a map of the park and some of the addresses. So let's see, here's Hopewell. Oops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Okay, so this road over here is 345. Over here is the main entrance where you usually will be going. Oh my goodness. This is why I do field work and not office work most of the time. So this gate will probably be closed if you're arriving before 9 a.m. So you want to keep going up 345, and then eventually you're going to make a left onto Park Road. There will be a sign facing opposing traffic, but it will be a sign that says Hopewell Furnace. Turn left into that road. It's a sharp left turn. Keep going down Park Road, and then there is a sign here and a gate that will be open that says official use only. You will be official use, so you can use that road. I'm pretty sure that one is a gravel road. And then keep going down, and then you're going to take your first left onto, I believe, a paved road. And then if you keep going down just a little bit, there's a red building on the left with the Park Service arrowhead, which looks like that. And that is Building 99. So here it is, Building 99. Here are some more park addresses, which you will also have printed out for you. All right, when it comes to parking, make sure that you have your parking sign on your vehicle dashboard. This will be provided to you in your kit, and it will be yellow instead of white in the background, but just make sure that you have this so that law enforcement and park officials know who you are and why you're there. And just keep in mind that this doesn't authorize you to park anywhere in the park. It's just only in places that are indicated on the map as parking for the program. Now, if you're getting to a point and you do see a parking spot that isn't on the map, feel free to radio me or email me or something like that and ask, because maybe that is a good parking spot and I just missed it. And in that case, I'd give you the thumbs up. But maybe that's private property and I look at the map and I say, oof, I don't know, we don't have permission to park here. So just check with me if you have any questions about any stuff like that. Okay. Please be mindful that some of the places you will be able to park during the program will not be publicly accessible to other folks or during other times. I already mentioned the unauthorized locations. Make sure you please do not block any gates, because there will be some gates at some of the parking pull-offs, so just don't block them and use your placard. Here is a map of the points and the parking. The pink indicates a pasture or a field. I think that's pretty helpful when you're out there. So just make sure you're taking a good look at the map and studying it beforehand. All right, and that is it. Feel free to reach out to me or Kate. Thanks for making it through this. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, week, whatever it is. I hope it's good for you. So long.